have a small team, and we'll have a module based kind of stuff. Okay, so then now we are coming to the Scrum versus scaled agile. Okay, why the scaled agile comes into picture? Okay, it's every we know that, okay, something is not enough for doing our day-to-day stuff on the project management side or in the development side. Then we will find some alternatives or maybe a better way. So that is how a safe agile will came into picture. Okay, so apart from a module base, it is having a bigger picture, like the enterprise, bigger enterprise and a bigger team kind of, okay, working across the team. Okay, so that one was a project, but this is based on a product, as every functional will come into picture. So that is how this safe agile, scalable agile framework, that is actually we call it. Okay, so that came into picture. I think we will gradually move. Sridevi, you can add, you already certified on it. So, hello, I'm audible? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, scaled agile framework came into picture when we were not able to handle big teams in fit big teams into a agile framework. We know that our Scrum teams are of 5 to 12 people maximum, and big features like features will include more people. We will need to handle more people, more features into it. So we needed a alternative, not an alternative method, but a scaled version of the same. That's how this scaled agile framework came into picture. As we know, are we going to the details of the scaled agile, like the portfolio, safe essential? Or are we going to into those details?
You can mention it, but if possible, don't be too lengthy.
Okay. So we know that in a Scrum team we have a Scrum Master, Product Owner, and the team members. Likewise, in Scaled Agile framework, we have Release Train Engineer, Project Management, and Scrum teams. So we have a uh, we have a number of meetings that uh, the Scrum Master attends, Scrum of Scrum, the product management attends product sync, and programming, PI planning meetings. A number of events are occurring. So those are all related to safe. Um, so that's the thing in a nutshell, I have to say. Um, Over to you, Krishna Kumar sir.
Raju?
Yeah. Before we go into if I can, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can give you a little more that basics. So actually, in Agile, we have two type of frameworks. So one is lightweight framework, and another one is scaled framework. So many people are known about Scrum. Many people know Scrum and working on Scrum. So Scrum, Kanban, those kind of things comes into lightweight framework. So what is lightweight? Lightweight framework is, it is mean for one or two teams. So maximum you can go up to 3 teams or something. So if you have more than 3 or 4 teams, then you have to go to the scaled framework. So there are multiple frameworks available for scaling the organization, scaling the projects. So for example, Nexus, you might have heard about it. Less, you might have heard about it. Then Scrum at Scale. And SAFe is one of the scaled framework. It was developed in 2011. So now it is in 5.1. So the idea of that is when you are handling some bigger product development, which is having more than 50 people, so then you have to go with the scaled, any of the scaled framework. So nowadays, SAFe is very popular because of multiple reasons. because most of the scaled framework they talks about breaking the silos, breaking the organizational culture, breaking the organizational hierarchies. But SAFe actually they are not doing that. They are keeping the organizational hierarchies and the structures. And what they are doing is they trying to bring another operating system. And SAFe they are considering as a dual operating system to bring back the business agility and the customer centricity. That is what SAFe is much popular. So, coming to that, I want to tell you one more thing. The topic is Scrum versus SAFe. I would say it is not Scrum versus SAFe because it is Scrum and SAFe. Because the building block of SAFe is actually Scrum. Because in the team level, we use a Scrum.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you want to add anything, we can go for it.
Great. So I would like to actually ask Anurag, who is actually over here. So he's also practicing Agile, the Scrum, I think. So Anurag, do you want to add anything more on this part?
Yeah, actually, practicing safe agile only. So here,
Great.
like as I told earlier, like we have multiple teams and multiple programs. Every time we are concentrating the PA planning is one of the big event. So in each PA planning, we will review the previous PA objectives and how much we make. And each objective we will converting to the business value. So whenever we are going for the PI planning, right? So that is the complete like we have the quarter wise PI planning, and each quarter will plan like will be changed during the other events and all. But whenever we are going for the PI planning, so we should make clear what are the objective we are going to cover and what competence we have, and is there any uncommitted objectives or something we are not clear. So everything we have each and every sprint what we are going to do. So that will be a good practice for the scale agile field. And we have the different levels like release training engineers will be there. They will talk about the release things, and on top of that we have the big owners. So everybody, their point of view is nothing but the business value. So whatever we are doing, okay, they will come.
Hello.
I think we lost Anu in middle.
Okay, Harry, I can give you a little more about the.
Sure, sure. Go ahead, go ahead.
If you go to scaledagileFramework.com, you can see the big picture of SAFe. So if you go there, you can see that it's a huge knowledge-based framework. So there are a lot many things they have integrated. So if you come to that, there is four configurations are available for SAFe. That is essential SAFe, large solution SAFe, portfolio SAFe, and full SAFe. So people have different. People have some confusion which configuration they have to use where, because as I mentioned, if you have more than 3 or 4 teams, then you have to go with a scaled as any of the scaled framework. So in SAFe, actually they recommend minimum you should have 5 teams, and maximum you should have 12 teams in an art. Art means nothing but agile release train. It is a team of team. Okay, so assume that you have a company, for example, some around 100 people working in a company, and all people are working for a single product. So they will be having multiple Scrum teams, and these teams are working for one product development. Those company needs essential SAFe because they don't have multiple product, they don't have a solution, large solution. So any if you have only one team or only one art agile release train, so that means 5 to 12 team working on one product, then you can go with the essential SAFe. Most of the organization or most of the teams are working on essential SAFe. So now, if you have a kind of a bigger product, for example, assume that Word 365. So if you consider Word 365, sorry, Office 365, it is having multiple products are available. Word, Excel, PowerPoint, many things are there. If you are considering in that way, so those kind of things. So if you consider Word, that is one train or multiple train, and Excel also another train. and PowerPoint is also another trail. When they can integrate all those things, then you will get the Office 365. So those kind of companies, if you have more than 150 people working on a single product, then they have to go with a large solution safe. That is the second configuration. So because you will be having multiple train, one train means 5 to 12 team, 12 team. So in safe recommends you can have 5 to 11 members in a team. So here the team means it's a Scrum team, but in Safe they changed the name to Agile team. So Agile team is actually the Scrum team. I'll come to that. So now, if you have see for example, this one is a bigger solution you are developing, just like a banking solution of that hospital management solution. So those kind of application you can't complete with the 150 people or something. You might be having 500 to 1,000 people working for the single product. So those kind of organization has to go with a larger solution safe. Then when you come to another level where, for example, initially I mentioned one product with less than 150 people. So similar to that, if any of the organization having small product, more than 5 team working on the single product, and in that case they have to go with the portfolio safe because they have to manage the portfolio. And in the full safe, see for example, you have lot of small products and also having the solution. So it's a mix of all. In that case they can go with a fuller safe or full safe. There you will get larger solution, portfolio, and essential. So these are the four configurations of safe. And coming to safe full picture, you have 7 core competencies are available. So core competencies are to drive the safe framework. You need some sort of certain knowledge base. So that is what this core competencies. So if you are coming to essential safe, you need 3 competencies. That is agile product delivery, team and technical agility, and lean agile leadership. Coming to the large portfolio, if you 1 second. In case if you are in between in front of laptop, you open the scaled agile framework.com. So you'll get all those things. So in case of larger solution, you will get one more competencies, that is enterprise solution delivery, because you have another level that is larger solution. So that that means enterprise solution delivery is also required. There is 3 roles available there. Then if you come to the portfolio, then you will be having another 2 more competencies, that is organization agility, lean portfolio management. Then continuous learning culture also is available. Coming to 7, that is full safe, you'll be having all other portfolio that what do you call that competencies: organization agility, lean portfolio management, enterprise solution delivery, agile product delivery, team and technical agility, continuous learning culture, and also lean agile leadership. So lean agile leadership will be everywhere because that is the base of safe. Without leadership support, safe will not work in any of the organization. That is why lean agile leadership is in the basement, because they are the one who has to implement safe in their organization. Okay.
Great. So we are just pausing over here for any queries if anyone have on the types. And just let me ask you one question, Rajiv. Like, if there are multiple Scrum teams are working for a safe, like there are multiple teams. For example, um, okay, so a core team is working, the base, the backend, and the middle layer is working as a separate Scrum team, and the front end team is working as a separate Scrum team, and the DevOps is working as a separate team. Is it will be possible like separate like components will be working as separately, or do you require like one person from the core and one ML, one front end and one DevOps?
No, I can tell you this. So initially I mentioned that the if you are implementing safe, actually safe is not breaking the siloed culture. It is not breaking the hierarchy of the organization also. And they are saying that they are organizing people around the value stream. So in that case, you need to understand what is value stream. Any idea what is value stream for anybody?
Yeah, it is the stream of people and products.
It's actually the stream of value you are delivering in multiple stages, kind
Yeah.
of an use case, right? So, for example, mostly if you are implementing SAFe, the people can be distributed across the geography also, right? For example, India, from people from India, they might be working on software, and from people from China might be working on hardware, and in US and UK, they might be working on some legal and compliance and all those things. So we can't say that everybody should be in a one team like a Scrum team. So Scrum team, you know that it's a cross-functional team. So similar cross-functionality we can't bring in a SAFe environment. So instead, what we will do is we identify a value stream, and to that value stream, who else is required? Sometimes we need software, hardware, then support team. We may require the compliance, legal, HR, even shared services. Many people should be there. So bring everybody into that value stream. So that is how they create the agility here instead of creating a single team. So now we have multiple events are there to collaborate with people. So why how it is collaborating with, because we are getting people from different siloed team also, different geographical region, but all are aligned with a single value stream. So that is how we are creating that agility here. Ari?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, Hari,
Okay.
I would like to add some more points. Okay, as you asked how the DevOps and our safe agile will be come into picture. Okay, so as Rajiv was saying, right? So we have different streams. Okay, so and especially scaled agile is supporting the continuous delivery pipeline always. Okay, so we have multiple teams come into picture, and operating teams, and they're struggling to support each other. There will be a maintain the stability is a little bit problem when we have too much bigger. Okay, with small teams it is may not be a problem, but there comes if it's a big team, there comes the DevOps come into picture, and they will do the development and operation team hand to hand, and the collaboration will be easy. Okay, so there will be the releasing to the business all these products, and everything will be good. Okay, so there will be the faster way and cheaper way of it. Okay, so that is how the DevOps and scaled agile will goes together.
Yeah, I would say, Krishna, actually DevOps is by default, SAFe is encouraging. So DevOps will be part of this.
Yes, yes, true.
Yeah.
And I was just clarifying, okay, why DevOps is integrated to
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
because no see here you may know like that suppose the Netflix and Uber kind of big companies always having a release on demand. Okay, so whenever they want they will keep on releasing it instead of keep waiting. So there comes this DevOps and this scaled agile work together.
Yeah. So actually, scaled up agile is already saying that development cadence and release on demand. So
Yes,
that release on demand is achieved through this CI/CD pipeline. That is the DevOps.
true.
Yeah, continuous delivery pipeline, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe I can add one more point in the DevOps team, like how we were following in the DevOps team is nothing but like we have a we have one program and three product teams we had, and we have all together we have only one DevOps team. So what they do, like as I told, like for the PA planning, is there any main uh, dependencies with the agile sorry DevOps team? So we will mention that. Okay, so they will take those dependency on which sprint everything they will find out over there. And on top of that, okay, the CACD, and that will be the on premise, like it will continuous process. Okay, so there will be a dedicated person for that. And if we have any other kind of uh, requirement or something, so we are going with like a ticketing system. So we have to raise the ticket, and they will take those ticket, and they will working on that. It's like a kind of Kanban they are following. And what will happen, like every time, okay, if we have any kind of small request, okay, so that will they will take and they will finish that in their itself. And if you have something more, okay, like if you are recommending something more, like they will consider for the next PI only. So this is how they are following the DevOps team inside the program.
Yeah. So sometimes it will act as a shared service or a system team, part of system team also. If it is not a dedicated team for the art itself. So that again, organization will decide. That's what Tanda said. Only one team is there, so it might be sharing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what we are following there. That's what I just want to add that.
So now I can tell you how I mentioned the Scrum team is the base of SAFe. How the Scrum team is connected here. So there is another, not another, out of 7 technical core not technical core competencies. One is team and technical agility. In the team and technical agility is part of essential large solution portfolio and full safe. So the technical and team and technical agility is actually the competency for the developers and the teams. And the agile product delivery comes with the product management, then release, train engineer, and all those things. So they are the one who is actually delivering, and the teams are the one who is working on it. So how the team is integrated here. So we know that, say, in Scrum we have 3 roles: product owner, Scrum master, and developers. So here also in SAFe we have similar kind of setup. So instead of okay, so we have instead of Scrum team, we used to say here in agile teams. Agile team is nothing but a Scrum team only. We also have the product owner, Scrum master, and developers. And here, as I mentioned, minimum you should have 5 teams, and maximum you can have 12 teams for a art agile release train. It's a team of team. So every team should have one product owner, one Scrum master. So when you go to Scrum, the philosophy is that one product owner. That is what the philosophy in Scrum. But when you come to the SAFe, that philosophy is no more valid, because we are working on a huge product development. So one product owner can't handle everything. And in Scrum, actually, the product owner is customer facing, and he or she is the only one who gets all the requirement, all the customer voice, market analysis, and everything. So here, the product owner in the SAFe is more the team focus, not the customer focus. So there is one more layer above this the agile teams. Uh, that is part of agile product delivery. There comes the release train engineer, RT, product management team, and system team. So in SAFe, actually, the normal product owner's role, or I can say that power of the product owner is coming with the product management team. So the product management team is the one who is actually customer focused, and they are getting the requirement from the business owners, or the solution management team, or anybody. So they actually create the program backlog. From the program backlog, they distribute the features to the product owner. So they are not getting anything from outside. They are getting from the product management. Whatever the product management is prioritizing, that is what the product owner is using. That is what the team level in Scrum SAFe actually. And coming to the events, so in Scrum we have that in the Scrum, the heart of Scrum is sprint. So similar to that, if you come to the SAFe, the heart of SAFe is actually that product program increment. So similar to that, in say Scrum, you have the sprint planning. That is the heartbeat of Scrum. So here that heartbeat is actually PI planning. PI planning is similar to that sprint planning, but it's in a larger way. It is a 2-day event. I'll come to that. So that is the next event in SAFe. So then when you come to the team level, Scrum level, you have a daily stand up. Here also daily stand up in SAFe, and you will be having a sprint review and retrospection. Here, instead of sprint review, we used to call iteration review and iteration retrospection. So instead of sprint, we call it as iteration. Here there is I think long back they followed the same terminology which Scrum was using. So somewhere there was some dispute happened. So that is why they changed the terminology. Wherever the Scrums come, they changed it into iteration. So iteration in SAFe means it's similar to the sprint. That is what the terminology has changed. So those who know about Scrum, it's easy for them to work in the team level. So there is nothing has changed. everything is as per the Scrum early, right?
Okay. Who will be actually like a Scrum Master? Who will be means initiating those discussions over here in Scrum? I mean, in Safe, like
So
the overall Safe. I'm talking about the overall Safe structure.
overall safe structure means you need to think about a 4 different configuration. Which configuration you are talking about, that is also matter, because in the team level, in the execution level, actually the product management team and the system architect and RTE, they are having the authority in the delivery level, that the art level delivery. So below that the teams are there. Team level, every team level events will be facilitated by the Scrum Master, the same way the Scrum ceremonies are going on. So in once you come to the art level, the everything will be facilitated by the RTE, release train engineer. Release train engineer you can consider as a senior Scrum Master. So Scrum Master is responsible for team level events, team level impediment removal, and the RT is responsible for the art level, that is Agile release train level impediments removal.
Rajiv, can you explain about the estimation techniques?
Uh, Estimation techniques in SAFe or generic?
Safe.
In Safe.
See, estimation technique is also the same way the relative estimation only we are also they are using. So one slight modification here which I have seen in SAFe is, uh, see, in Scrum, actually estimation is not part of any of the framework. Estimation is nothing but a engineering practice. So it is not mandatory that you have to follow that. So the 2 ways of estimation is story point estimation and the t-shirt sizing. That is what widely used. But in usually in that story point estimation, team to team it will vary, because whatever the smallest story you are considering may not be the same for the other team. So team to team the estimation, that story point will vary. But to generalize and see if what they are doing is, they, even though you are having the estimation in terms of story point, they finally considered 1 day of effort is one story point. That is what they considered. So because of that, everybody will talk about the same story point, right? So they have to consider the complexity, then the uncertainty, then the what do you call the effort which you have to implement, use for this stories to consider complete. Everything will be considered, and they consider one story point as a, if your organization is calculating only 6 hours are the productive hour for per day, then it is 6 hours is one story point. If it is 7 or 8, then that will be the story point. That is what SAFe is recommending. Is that answered, or should I go? How to explain more?
Yeah.
You need more explanation, or?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
No, usually what happens is you need to identify one story which everybody knows, right? Then in terms of testing, in terms of performance testing, whatever you are going to do with to completion of that story, that everybody should know.
Yeah,
That will be
everyone
your basic.
should be in agreement with the smallest story, smallest one, right?
Correct. Then you have to compare. So if one story point is this much effort or this much, then how much will be the next one? So based on that 2, 3, or 5 or whatever you can calculate, that is the way usually estimates. But here they slightly modified because they are connecting with the that hours. That is how it is going to.
Okay.
One more thing, like when we are
I know. I think we are losing you in between. Anurag, I think you. Yeah, we lost him. Yeah, Danesh, you want to add something, or yeah, Danesh?
Yeah, probably maybe it's just a question just to understand in broader level, because yeah, I never worked on the safe environment, but so can I say in such a way that safe is something like a scrum of scrum plus, which includes operational activities and all together? Is it a consolidated? That's the question number one actually. It's a kind of a consolidated architecture of that framework. Then second,
in an organization, do we see any challenge? Because current organization works in that hierarchical model, right? How the team reports to their managers, or how the portfolio program managements are created. So, do we need a restructuring of the organizational level to fit into that safe agile? So, what's your thought on that, Rajiv? Probably, maybe I was thinking in that perspective, but just thought to get some idea.
Okay, that is what even I mentioned initially. So that may be one reason SAFe has become popular, because here SAFe is not recommending for a restructuring or breaking the siloed culture also. Instead, they are bringing a different concept called a dual operating system. They are organizing people around the value stream to achieve that customer centricity. So you don't need to break your siloed culture. You don't need to break your hierarchy. Instead, even in the SAFe, if you see, if you go and see the SAFe full structure, full picture, big picture, you can see the agile team is in the delivery level or at the development level. Above that, you can see in the next hierarchy, system architect, product management, and RTE. So above the product management and the RTE, system architect, above, if you have a solution, then there is a solution RTE, solution team, train engineer STE, then solution management and solution architect. Above the solution level, you have epic owners, enterprise architect, and portfolio management and all. So those kind of people are actually from the senior level, CEO, directors, and all those things. So whoever is working in the current hierarchical structure, they can equally map to any of this role. So you don't need to break the silos. You don't need to break the what you call hierarchy. So hierarchy is not a problem in SAFe. Then coming to the Scrum of Scrum, actually Scrum of Scrum, SAFe is not Scrum of Scrum, but SAFe use Scrum of Scrum. I'll tell you what is Scrum of Scrum. Scrum is not a framework. It is kind of a creating that scaling something. See, for example, you have two or three Scrum teams are available. So, and in the lightweight, I said you can have a Scrum for one team, two team, or maximum three team. More than that, it will be difficult to handle. So, assume in that environment, you have three teams. So, definitely three team working for a simple product. Definitely, there will be some dependencies between the teams, so that they may not be, the team may not be able to resolve it. For example, hardware and software, if you are working, so it may be difficult to handle the everything. So in that case, what happens is, how the resolve that these kind of problems will be resolved is, every scrum masters from the team will meet, and with some SMEs from each team if they need it, and they discuss and decide what they have to do. In case of any dependencies with any team members, these scrum masters will facilitate the discussion with the team members, and they resolve it. That is actually what is called a scrum of scrum. In SAFe also we have scrum of scrum. That is not the framework actually. That is another activity in SAFe, because SAFe we have 5 to 12 team in an art. That is the RTE will conduct a scrum master meeting. There also all the scrum masters from all 12 5 to 12 team will meet with some SMEs if required, and they discuss and decide their dependencies and all. Is that answer your question?
Rajiv, yeah, that's pretty insightful, Rajiv, really, because I'm also very pretty new to the system, but a lot of questions comes daily, and then again read something, again come back to the, yeah. So just I'm also in a learning phase, but that is pretty insightful. And just back to that first answer where you told the no need to reshape the organization or structure or something, right? That's very much insightful, I thought. And just to make sure that what I understood is correct, so I can keep my organization structure as it is, and I can take those roles, leadership role or architect role, and then map into the Scrum framework and create a dotted line between them, right? And
not the Scrum framework, SAFe framework.
SAFe framework, yeah. So create a dotted line. Original architecture, reporting hierarchy, everything will be as it is, but we can a dotted line SAFe framework we can create within that.
Maybe slightly they have to align with the roles. Other than that, their hierarchy is not disturbing. Because, for example, if you see in the big picture, agile teams are there, So mostly the Scrum Master can be a project manager kind of experienced guy, some 8 to 12 years experience, and the product owner also similar to some 8 to 10 years of PA or product owner itself. And the team can be normal team members, 0 to 5 years or 8 years or 10 years. So if you go above one level, the RT can be a senior program manager kind of person, and the product management team can be a program manager, and the system architect, so that is a normal architect can be a system architect. So if you go one step above, then the solution train engineer is there. So you might be having a VP or a director might be that solution train engineer, because solution train engineer RTA role is actually huge roles, right? And the solution management, you can again think about a director or something like that. So if you go up to the ladder, then definitely most of the, even up to the CEO level, you can map to this framework. That is one reason which I understood. I don't know whether it is true or not. That is one reason many of the organizations like framework. So I have to say that SAFe is actually not 100% agile framework. I have to say it can be a glorified waterfall model also. So
Sorry
because
to
yeah.
sorry to interrupt. I'm in the US and it's midnight here, so I'm leaving. So you can continue.
Thanks, Devi, for joining us. And I think like we are conducting this type of discussions on a daily basis at 11 to 12 in this other place to talk club. And also we are actually conducting, and we are ready. We are happy to take more discussions at your time zone as well. So if you are really interested or keen to take some discussions at your time zone, that is really happy. So you can contact me, or you can contact anyone over here. So we'll make arrangements for that.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Sudevi. Yeah, I think Vincent has joined us. So he, do you have anything to add over here, or you have any queries?
No, no. Whatever Rajiv has said, I mean, that is correct. I mean, we don't have to relate Scrum of Scrum only to SAFe, but for a bigger team. Bigger team splits into multiple teams, and they will do their own, I mean, Scrum activities. And when they have a interdependency, like between teams, then that Scrum Master and someone from some technical guy from that team, they will meet, and that is called Scrum of Scrum. So as per my understanding, because I haven't worked on SAFe and all, so the Scrum environment I have worked. So whatever Rajiv said, I mean, that is correct.
Yeah, Scrum is an activity. I can say it is not only for SAFe. Most of the most of the scaled framework, whoever is using Scrum will conduct this Scrum of Scrum.
Yeah, but the people are actually getting misunderstood. Like the SAFe is actually the Scrum of Scrum, because many
No,
people are interrupting, or maybe just taking a word like, okay, SAFe is called as, means maybe it's the definition is Scrum of Scrum. That may be the reason.
no, the problem is, there are many engineering practices are there. So what they SAFe did is everything they included in their framework. So people will get a feel that this is part of SAFe. So even the story, epic features, it is not part of SAFe or Scrum or any of the framework. It is part of an engineering practice, right? So if you go to Scrum framework is not talking about story or story point estimation or anything. They talk about product backlog item, PBI. So in Scrum, in SAFe, they are talking about story. Story is not part of SAFe. It is not part of any of the framework. It is engineering practice.
For one more thing, I just want to add, like I seen kind of like when it is the Scrum of Scrum meeting is happen, right? So maybe not for the every time. Sometimes they come up with some new practices. Okay, like they are working on some new kind of reports and all. So they will come up with like the thing is like the Scrum of Scrum happen within multiple teams, and each team they have some problems. And they will discuss all these things there, and sometimes they will come up with some new idea, and that will try to implement almost all the teams. So if it's something good means they will try to implement almost all teams. For example, like I seen like we're using the Azure DevOps. Okay, so they will add some kind of new field over the user story points, and they will ask us to follow that as well. So these kind of things at the end, the product owner or the higher management, they will get kind of metrics, or they will get some reports, so they can easily comes to know like what all the things are going in the team and how much they are reaching, and if they're working for towards particular epic or something. So this kind of good practices also they're implementing after the Scrum of Scrum meeting.
Yeah. In SAFe, basically the RT is the one who is responsible for the running of a train. Okay, so what he or she is making sure that the teams are progressing without any impediments. That is why they conduct the Scrum Master. So in case if they have to discuss anything after the time box is expired, because in SAFe they will conduct the Scrum for 30 minute to 40 minute or 1 hour. So once it is over, then the affected parties, whoever is responsible, they can stay back and they can resolve the problem and go.
Yeah.
Just adding to what Rajiv said, like story points are like not part of Scrum. Even burn up chart, burn down chart, even these are not part of Scrum, right?
No.
Yeah.
These are all kind of engineering practices and methods.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, some people think that like this burn down chart is related to Scrum, burn up chart is related to Scrum, this kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are kind of metrics which we are taking from the Scrum teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you read the Scrum guide, they are not talking about any single metrics.
Yes.
Yeah,
There is no metric.
Yeah. I think that team, like based on the business purpose, they have multiple metrics, right?
Actually, this confusion is coming because of the tools. If you are using Jira,
exactly.
Rally, every tool is having this one. So people are using. So those who are using Scrum, they get a feel that these are all the part of Scrum. If you are using Jira or TFS, you are in Scrum or into Agile. That is a feel many people are getting. Many people not understanding that using Jira or Rally or TFS is not Agile or Scrum.
Exactly. So maybe we will actually want to talk about that metrics as like anything whether we'll be using. So before that, we have Vijish over here. So Vijish, you want to add something or you want to clarify something?
Yeah. I would like to add one point, that is about that SAFe team assessment. So in my organization, they will be doing that after every PI, they will conduct a assessment. So in that assessment form, will be shared to every team members. That included that the health, the PI health, the status, iteration status, team health, and technical health. They will collect that the feedback from every team member, and will also score and do some analysis. They will conduct different meetings, and the improving areas will figure out. And the next PI, they will take things and act. The make arrangement. So that is one of the things I
the inspector and activity. So there they collect all the metrics like in business value. So what was the velocity of the team level velocity? What is the art level velocity? All those things, and they do a lot of root cause analysis if there is any failure or anything. So many things will be done in that inspect and adapt event. It's a measure and grow.
Yeah. In the technical side, I am a developer, so in that we can provide that they are using that single branch for development, and that automation things, how it's working, that type of a feedback, and the product owners different activities, right? That user stories and feature splitting, and how much he's contributing, everything we can provide the scores. On that basis, we will conduct a discussion, and that action.
So some teams are actually conducting the team level also, because based on the different aspect, they create some questionnaire and they ask to people to rate from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. So based on people response, they summarize everything and they grade the team. So whether their maturity is in the 2, 3 or 4, and based on their that they take the action, whether
Correct, only Raj. And one more thing is that if we provide a feedback and the manager is not taking care of that thing, then the senior manager, he will be doing some skip level meeting. That the project manager and the PO won't be there, and we can share our input to the higher manager also.
So usually in a SAFe, if you have team level impediment, anything is coming, then it has to go to the RTE, release train engineer. He is the one who is taking care of all those things. And if he is also not listening, then you can go to the STE level. But usually it will taken care.
Yes, yes, correct. Yes, yeah, that is the thing.
Yeah. So I'm just pausing over here for one moment. Like, if anybody have in the audience, like if anybody want to clear or want to clarify something, we are just pausing over here. You can raise your hand and you can come on board and you can ask your queries. Or if you want to add, that also we welcome. Okay, so meantime I am saying like so we are actually conducting multiple sessions over this in other place to talk. So you can follow the club and as well as you can follow me so that we can actually conduct multiple discussions over here. So I would actually want to okay, so Faisal just joined, Unation just joined, and Danesh, you want to add something like? Yeah.
Yeah, just to maybe one more clarity, as Rajiv and Vincent has sorry, Vijish or Vince, I think yeah, they have rightly pointed out a lot of maybe myths or misconception we had initially when learning this Scrum. And just one more thought, when I have gone through the SAFe that framework diagrams, I see that program and the portfolio management that from the typical waterfall ideology, right? We have a portfolio, then program management, that is intact in the SAFe environment. But the project team concept, that is going to be kind of a, instead of its project, it is called as a team only there, I see. So is that my understanding is true, that there is no project team when it comes to the SAFe? It's going to be portfolio, then program, then it's going to be a team kind of concept.
No, actually there is no project kind of concept. So here everything is talking about product development. So here is not the project management team, it is the product management team. So product management is a kind of a product owner only. So they are not actually the program manager. So program manager can be the product management also. That's why. And the portfolio management here, the name is portfolio manager, but they handle in a agile way more than a regular that portfolio manager. So here the funding is in a different way. The lean portfolio management, they do that horizon based funding, and many things are there. So in traditional waterfall model, there is a what you call the funding is for the project. The entire project they will fund it, but here they will not fund it for the entire product development. They fund for the PIs. So there is a lot of things in the lean portfolio management. Only the name is same, but their activities are different.
Thanks, Rajiv. Thanks for that insight. Yeah, even yeah, maybe it's a quite complex, I believe. The name, yeah, as you said, the name looks similar, but the way, especially budget estimation, right?
Yeah.
When we had a waterfall ideology, we see that we will budget according to the project, maybe some rough order magnitude or something like that we do typically. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, Rajiv, just out of the syllabus, one question. Do you think that okay, this agile method is having a little more time to execution, like preparation work is a little bit more?
Um, you are asking in terms of SAFe or normal Scrum or
Safe,
anything?
safe. Like
SAFe
okay,
is
we train
SAFe is
people, and for the art defining art and everything, it is having little more effort to put
yes.
other.
That is one thing I have to say. SAFe is actually implementation of SAFe is very costly. So that is one reason why I mentioned in the scaled framework you should have more than 5 people. If your organization is having only 5 or 6 teams, my recommendation is don't go with the SAFe, because if you go with the SAFe, then you need to hire an RTE, product management team, system architect. Not only that, the PI planning is a huge event. They have to spend a lot of money, and they follow with the face-to-face interaction. Means people are distributed geographically. Everybody has to bring it to one place for conducting the PI. Before the pandemic, I'm saying So people from India, China, UK, and everybody will reach at one place. If you have 150 people, all 150 people have to be at one place. That is a assumption. So then you can think about how much money they have to spend for their travel, their hotel accommodation, and all those things. So it's a huge investment is required. Not only that, lot of preparation is also required. If you are going for a PI planning itself, they need to prepare a lot. They have to think about the organizational readiness, content readiness, team readiness, many things they have to prepare. So that is initially they have to do it. Once PI starts, then the rest of the preparation will happen within the PI itself. But yes, there are a lot of preparation is required.
Thanks.
So on a
Rajiv, I have one more.
yeah, yeah, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. So our company we have one concept like every PA planning. Okay. So the last sprint it could be a innovation kind of sprint. Okay. So it's kind of like we have some relaxed time, and maybe we can think about something new or something new ideas. And on top of that, the PA planning also, like we are calling as a big group planning. It's like a 3-day planning with 4 and 6 hours per day. So all these things coming in the last iteration. So it is like a good practice, or like everybody is following the same kind of thing.
No, and actually IP innovation and planning iteration, that is the last iteration is mean for the next PI planning itself. So the first week what you usually will do is, in case if you have any spillover task to complete it, then the
Yeah.
teams can finish it. Okay, and if you already completed, then you can utilize the first week for any innovation idea jam, then the hackathon, something like that, or if you are planning for any training, that you can plan for it. And what they will do is that the teams will do the next PI planning readiness. So the next PI planning readiness is nothing but the product management team will provide the features to the product owner. So once you get the features, then the product owners and the team will discuss and they refine that backlog, and they make it into small stories, and they create their team backlog. Then they will estimate it and all. And before they go for the next PI planning, so what usually they will, am I audible?
Yeah, your voice is
Yes,
little
Rajiv.
bit feeble,
Okay.
but it's audible. If you are using
Okay,
headset,
okay.
maybe you can remove that, Rajiv.
No, I don't have the.
Okay.
Yeah. So what they will do is they will refine it, and they already plan a rough. They make a rough PI that iteration planning before they go to the actual PI planning. Because in the PI planning, you will be getting only 3 hours in your breakout room, right? Within 3 hours, it will be difficult to break the feature into multiple stories and plan for that entire PI. So usually the product management team will give the features upfront. So that is the readiness of the next PI planning readiness. And in the second week, what happens? Second week, the second day, that is Tuesday afternoon, you will be having the inspect and adapt. And the inspect and adapt, actually, they give the final PI system demo. You know that if you are into SAFe, there will be system demo every iteration. So that every iteration, actually, the multiple teams integrated system will be demoed by the system team. So that is wherever you are. If you are in India, China, UK, or everywhere, so people will be up to their place only. They will give the demo because the system team is actually giving the demo. So if you have 4+1 PI, so that is 4 development PI and 1 innovation PI. So up to 3 PI, 3 iteration, they will give the demo. Fourth demo, they will not give kind of a system demo. What they will do is the fourth demo will be given when you go for the PI. Just before one day, they will conduct the inspect and adapt. There itself,
Yeah.
they will give the final
It will
demo.
be the big audience, right?
Yeah, PI system demo. So that the entire audience. Hello.
No, there was an echo once a person joined. No worries, Rajiv, go ahead.
Okay. So the entire audience will be there, right? So because everybody has already assembled for the next PI. So the next PI usually happens on a Wednesday and Thursday. If you are any spillover, anything you are to replan, then the Friday also will be used. So the PI planning will happen in the IP iteration only. Second week of the IP event. So that is actually SAFe is recommending. It is not the practice for team to team. It is what SAFe is recommending.
Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to.
Okay. Okay.
അത് എല്ലായിടത്തും ഇതുപോലുള്ള ആളുകൾ വരാറുള്ളതാണ്. അത് റിമൂവ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. സോറി രാജീവ്, സോറി ഫോർ ദാറ്റ്.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I just just want to confirm that. Okay, so I thought it's just it is a kind of custom event for each safe. Like it's like almost all safe event we are following the same, right?
Yes, yes. So IP event is a must actually. So long back, I think version 4 or something, the IP event was only 1 week. Now later they changed to equal. That is 2 weeks.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, we have Unish and Faisal and Naveen Srikanth joined us. So, guys, if you have any queries, so I know that you people actually joined late. So, if you have anything you want to ask at this moment, you can ask. Otherwise, maybe Kishomar and Rajiv can go ahead.
Yeah, one thing with this kind of methods I have seen about the very difficult to ensure the code quality, because many of the engineering people go for a shortcut, and so it will ultimately come back as a bug later point. Okay, so that I have seen many organizations like, okay, I don't know how we can handle this with the process, but still it's a mindset, I think.
Krishnamar, actually, to handle such situation, so this might be happening because of the pressure from the product management team or something. They might be forcing the team to take more stories. One thing is the team can make sure their DoD is stronger. So these kind of bug will go. Second thing is if there is any.
Yeah, Krishna, please
Yeah,
mute
yeah,
your
yeah. He actually gone on mute.
Second is in case if they realize that there is any technical debt is available, then they have to create a technical debt resolution stories or something, and they have to include in the upcoming PIs. And frequently they have to refactor their code also. So that you can decide how much percentage you can take the refactoring stories and all those things. That most of the product management team will accept that, because if you are not doing it, if you are not maintaining your code like that, then over a period of time your code will not be able to include more features. So that will be actually as a loss for the product management team or the business owners. So that somebody has to take an initiative and it has to be included in the next PI.
Yeah, and I would like to add one more thing. Like even I was a developer. Okay, even I was also facing the same issue in my beginning time. So what we did, like in the safe also, we have one more even. I mean, not even one more training, like software for safe for software engineering. So when I'm attending that one, okay, so they will give the clear cut idea like how we have to do the development process in the safe. So that will be one recommended course for all the developers. They will come to know, okay, for the TDD approach and BDD approach and CI/CD pipelines, each and everything, how we are taking the story points from the developer side. So they will give a complete idea, okay, including testing everything and the test plan management. So that will be a recommended course I can.
Yes, that is a good practice. Those who are into development side, definitely they have to attend whether safe or any scrum or whatever. Some engineering practices they should understand. So that is what I said. Many of the things are engineering practices. For example, extreme programming. So the pair programming, PDD, PDD, and all those things. So those are all the engineering practices. It will be good if the development team knows about the engineering practices. There actually they talk about how to handle the technical debt, how will you refactor your code and all those things. Am I correct, Andra?
Yes, that, yeah. So it comes to, and on top of that, after that only number of people, and they will come up with a new engineering practice also, and they will try to implement small.
So they might be acting as a shared service team or
Yeah, it's a shared service team.
Correct. So because multiple art can avail their service.
No, no. Actually, I lost my network in middle. Sorry. I came back. Hello. I'm audible. Sorry, I lost my network in middle, so I lost the last point. No worries. So Rajiv, it will be great if you can just add that point. Sorry.
No worry that Anurag was suggesting some engineering practices you should understand. So that is what I was also suggesting.
There is something this is Faisal. I would like to add something on that. There are I have seen in many teams, just because we are trying to be more agile, they tend to throw out the standard engineering practices during the program execution. So the the, the point Krishna Kumar was pointing out that whether the code quality is degrading, it is because of two reasons. One is there is more than enough pressure from the product team because they need to meet the product demand. And the second thing is, at that time of pressure, people are forgetting what we are supposed to do. It's not completing a specific story. It's all about completing the feature delivery with adequate quality. If you are there are to happen, I mean, what I have seen is the senior stakeholders will do exceptions one time and keep on giving exceptions on gating criteria. For example, some of our internal projects even uh, give exemption for unit testing or even for static analysis. So even all these kind of gatings are created for a specific reason, and due to some management pressure, people tend to ignore it and ended up paying the price while the product is getting into the market. As you guys are rightly pointed out, if as long as we are following the engineering practices and understanding how quality is maintained throughout the release pipeline, we will be okay. Otherwise, these things are going to happen continuously. That's 2 cents of.
Faisal, for that, I have to tell you one more thing. So many of the business owners may not be knowing about this kind of technical depth and all, right? So they want to release their product to market at the earliest. That is why they are forcing. So this is the team. They have to initiate. They have to update in the retrospection that our code quality is going poor. So it has to update to the Scrum Master and the product owner, and the product owner has to update to the product management team, and they have to update to the business owner. Everybody should understand this. The code quality is very much required for the product to sustain. So maybe they will compete with the competitors with a one or two PI or one or two quarter. After that, they will come up to a solution, a situation there they may not be able to build anything else because of the technical depth. So that is the everybody's responsibility. Even the team also has to bring this point. So they may not be understanding. That is what, okay, it's okay. You do unit testing. Even SAFe is talking about the built-in quality. So it is recommending that to the product owner, you should not accept anything which is a substandard or poor quality. So and the product owner is accepting means maybe he or she don't know anything about that. So if these kind of activity is happening, it has to bring into the either in the inspect and adapt event or in the team level retrospection anywhere. It has to bring to the notice to the business owners. They have to understand it. Then only they will also okay. I need to understand. Then they may give some 10% of time or 20% of time for fixing this problem. Got it, Faisal?
I understand that.
Yes, I understand it is very difficult to convince these people. I know most of the business owners might be VP directors or senior directors. I can understand, but wherever possible, we need to update to our immediate um, leaders or whoever. They have to bubble up this problem to the business owners.
Okay, I will add you one another scenario. No, the same contest. Another scenario. Okay, say for example, we got a project. Okay, so we go with this agile method. Then the problem is, okay, so we have developed as per the standard. Okay, so but we got another geographical area for the same client. Okay, so we had some uh, common functionality across the board. Okay, and we need to customize on the geographical side only. okay, and will be a environmental side only. Then comes the code refactoring comes, and all the common codes has to move in a separate common area, okay, like a base layer kind of, okay. So the layering, so then this layering becomes very complex with this, okay. You got what I am saying, many of the people can relate maybe, okay. So this kind of problems will, even though even we are following all the methods, this kind of problems we can't avoid, okay. So when it comes to this kind of model, then it becomes more complex. Hello.
Yes. Okay. So we are actually means completed around 1 hour of session right now. So that was actually a really a great session on Scrum versus Safe. So I'm not just pausing over here. So anybody have anything more to add or anything want to clarify at this moment? You are actually welcome to ask. Yeah, Sunil, you want to add something, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hi, I'm Sunil from Kannur. So I would like to say because Scrum as well as Safe, it is a continuous deployment as well as continuous integration. Okay, so and the and the DevOps must be there. So okay, the thing is that so people are talking about code quality. Code quality is not good. So what I think is because basically these developers they are not running the automated tests. So before they deliver their code, for testing, they are not okay, because they are not running the automated tests. Even though there's a lack of automation also is there. Okay, so so, so what I think, okay, so before giving the code for testing and QA, is dev leads. Okay, so dev lead should run the automated test in their environment so that all the quality issues are caught and addressed there itself. So okay, so that so what happens is that okay, when it comes to the final stage, so if the developers are not doing these automated tests, then these issues are caught in the automation in the final. So that time some issues are caught, and 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 there is a and and there is a discussion happens between the product owners as well as the management. So we can live with this. Okay, so we can live with those issues. So so we can note down these issues as part of release notes, and finally because finally because code quality suffers. So that's what I would like to say.
Yes, Sunil. See, the scenario is like no, even though as a DevOps one is on the syntax or the defined code quality kind of. Other than that, the functional quality of the code. Okay, how our functional uh, code quality will adapt the new changes where the new requirement comes. For example, we have a retail site, okay, and retail site may have so as I told, the first we have got one region or maybe one geographical area, and maybe we got another region. Usually it's happen. We got first US, then some Mexico or Chile, some other area will come. Usually or Canada. Okay, this is what happened most of the companies. Okay, the problem is the catalog or the the look and feel of the site itself will have a drastic change. Okay, the same catalog is not ideal for the Canada. Okay, what will happen, the functionality written in such a way like okay, they don't have a code segregation on the common layer. Okay, so the the entire code is not sufficient enough to adapt the new changes, then they have to rewrite. Okay, this is not defined anywhere actually. Okay, and people you need to have a practice like, okay, you need to include the future adaptability of the site. Okay, Okay, so somewhere we need to have defined it, but mostly engineering people will used to forget about it because they are rushed to deliver for the whatever in a happy way. They got a client that they have showed some saying that okay, we delivered before the deadline kind of. Okay, so yeah, just saying an example.
So I think that must be addressed at the time of product planning itself, because there can be many geographical configurations. So and these can be externalized also. So if the so if the right product planning is not there, then then these issues are bound to occur.
That's true. The ideal scenario is like many clients, right? Say for example, many people are in a vendors list, okay, and we are not sure ourselves that okay, we will get another geographical area. It may be some other company will take over, so they are not prepared for it.
ഇതിന്റെ ഒരു ഡയമെൻഷൻ ഞാൻ ആഡ് ചെയ്തോട്ടെ. ഇത് ഓവർ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, അതായത് ഇപ്പോൾ പ്രോബബ്ലി നമ്മൾ 10 വർഷം മുന്നേക്ക് പോവുകയാണെങ്കിൽ വി വെർ സോ റിലയൻറ്റ് ഓൺ ഡിസൈൻ പാറ്റേൺസ് ആൻഡ് ഭയങ്കര പ്രോപ്പർലി ഡിസൈൻ സോഫ്റ്റ്വെയർ ആയിരുന്നു പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരുന്നത്. പക്ഷേ ഇപ്പോൾ ദ ടെൻഡൻസി ഈസ് ടു അവോയ്ഡ് ഓവർ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ്. അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു സൈഡ് ഇഫക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് ഇതിന് വേണേൽ കൂട്ടും. ഇപ്പോൾ കൃഷ്ണകുമാർ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ വെൻ ഐ എം പ്ലാനിങ് ഫോർ US, പ്രോബബ്ലി രണ്ട് തരത്തിൽ അപ്രോച്ച് ചെയ്യും. ഐ മീൻ വി ഡോണ്ട് ഡിസൈൻ ഫോർ ദ ഫ്യൂച്ചർ ടോട്ടലി ഭയങ്കര ഇതായിട്ട്. പക്ഷേ ഇപ്പോൾ റീറ്റെയിൽ സൈറ്റൊക്കെ ആണെങ്കിൽ വി ടേക്ക് യൂസ് കേസസ് ആൻഡ് ദെൻ try to do our best, but it might not fit for the next one. So the second one, when it comes, there will be a cost. ഭയങ്കര മോശമായി എഴുതിയിട്ടില്ലെങ്കിൽ പ്രോബബ്ലി ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് ദാറ്റ് മച്ച് ഓഫ് കോസ്റ്റ്. പക്ഷേ റൈറ്റ് നൗ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയിൽ വി ഡോണ്ട് ഡിസൈൻ ഫോർ ദ ഫ്യൂച്ചർ ടു മച്ച്. അതായത് ഒരു ഭാവിയിൽ ഇത് വന്നേക്കാം എന്ന് കരുതി ഒത്തിരി ചെയ്യുന്നതിനേക്കാൾ കൂടുതൽ we tend to rewrite the code, mainly because of two things. ഒന്നാമത് വരുമോ ഇല്ല എന്നുള്ളതുണ്ട്. Our priority at that point is to deliver for US as soon as possible. അപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഇത്. രണ്ടാമത് ഇപ്പം ഞാൻ ഇന്ന് എഴുതുന്ന വെബ്സൈറ്റ് ഞാൻ ഫ്യൂച്ചർ റെഡിയായി ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാലും പ്രോബബ്ലി 6 മാസം കഴിഞ്ഞ് കാനഡ വരുമ്പോഴേക്കും ടെക്നോളജി മൈറ്റ് ഹാവ് ചേഞ്ച്ഡ്. അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ആ ഡയമെൻഷൻ വരുന്നുണ്ട്. People don't want to invest too much money in making it, down 10 years or something. Especially internet companies, they are ready to code something and throw it away and recode things as needed. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ട്രെൻഡ് ഇപ്പം ഉണ്ട് actually, which was not there earlier.
That is what just enough architecture, right, Nizam?
Yeah, that's right. അതാണ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത്. ഇപ്പോൾ ഒത്തിരി ടോക്സ് ആർ കണ്ടക്റ്റഡ് ഓൺ ദിസ് അപ്രോച്ച് റൈദർ ദാൻ ഡിസൈൻ. നമ്മൾ മുന്നേ ഒരു ഡിസൈൻ പാറ്റേണിനെ ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് പുഷ് ചെയ്തിരുന്നതിന് പകരം ഇപ്പോൾ ഡിസൈൻ ഫോർ യുവർ നീഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നൊരു ഇതിനെ പുഷ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
SAFe is pushing that. SAFe is actually recommending that. That is why they call it as architectural runway. As and when you need, you build on top of that.
ഞാൻ സേഫിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്തില്ല, പക്ഷേ ഒരു ജനറൽ പ്രോബബ്ലി വി ആർ ടോക്കിംഗ് അബൌട്ട് ദ സെയിം തിങ്. ബട്ട് ഹാവിങ് സെഡ് ദാറ്റ്, ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ റീറ്റെയിൽ സൈറ്റ് വെബ്സൈറ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ടെക്നിക്കലി ദർ മൈറ്റ് ബി സം എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്ഡ് ഗൈസ് ഹു ഹാവ് സീൻ ദിസ് ബിഫോർ ആൻഡ് ഹു നോസ് ഇനഫ് യൂസ് കേസ് ദാറ്റ് they might do it probably അത്ര കോസ്റ്റ് ഡിഫറൻസ് ഇല്ലാതെ they might do it in a better way. പക്ഷേ that is not the push at that point.
I would like to add one more thing, like if we are working for the product, right? So try, like in the earlier approach, we will do some kind of configuration type management, okay, and the customization. So product, we have one product, okay, product is nothing but the common things, and on top of that, we will plan how to implement the customization. So wherever customization is needed, so we will go with that, and most of the things we'll try to make it as a configuration. So we have some configuration panels and all. Based on the configuration, it will react like that. And entirely the UI is different, so we'll come with the customization. So we have some kind of plugin, okay, like how to inject that customization part into the product. So this kind of design patterns were following in the earlier, but nowadays it's changed when the SAFe is implemented. So we'll again the microservice, all those things are coming up. So based on the region wise and all, we'll call that.
Hi, I'm Sunil again. I don't have much of experience in SAFe, but I would like to ask one question for those who must have worked in SAFe. So basically, how we can measure the software progress in SAFe? Is it the functional coverage, or is it the number of defects, or is it a combination of both, or is it something else?
Software coverage. What do you mean?
Is if you want to do a measurement, okay, so how much we have achieved, okay, because basically we are trying to build a particular software, be it banking software
Okay.
or
So
it's a
that
supply chain.
actually, you worked in Agile or you are asking only specific to SAFe?
So that is why I don't have much of experience in SAFe. That is why
Okay.
I'm
See,
asking.
here actually they prioritize what else they want to deliver. Based on that, they plan in their PI planning, and then they will go forward. And at the end of the PI, they will measure how much they planned and how much they delivered. Is that you are looking for, or
Yeah, okay, because that's what I asked. Is
I
it
will
the
try to answer that question,
number you have?
Krishna. So
Is
the way it has to be measured is it is the uh, one way of measuring is the volume, the number of requirements we have delivered to the market. What is there? What have we planned so far, and what have been delivered completely available in market? That's one way. If during the development phase, it is all about how many of them are completed acceptance internally. That's the second part. Third one is in ongoing development. It's about how many have been groomed and ready for designs and stuff like that, and how many are designed, how many are under development. All those factors are representing the volume factor. So we can measure um, the release train, how the release train is performing in terms of requirement delivery to the market. Okay, that's one part of measurement. The second part of measurement is what is the agility rate? That means for average for a requirement, what is the time taken from ideation to market? That is the efficiency of the release train. These are the two major measures we are doing, and also in addition, the rate of bugs on an average for a requirement to get into market. What is the probability of or average number of bugs um, reported per requirement? It's mostly on epic level, that is the business epic, not on the sub user story, which is a very atomic feature. That's what typically happens, and this is measured typically by either by the high level release management team or by the product team. Does that give you an answer? Because the reason, the rationality behind that is how how the whole overall software's development group is performing in terms of volume and in terms of efficiency. Okay, that's the basic idea. And these are the KPIs to do that also. Typically, wherever I have worked on, we used to have such dashboards, and that is being reviewed on a weekly basis.
Thanks, Vishal. So, for everyone's understanding, like we are actually recording this session, so we'll upload that in the YouTube channel, so that if anyone missed this opportunity to get the basic that we discussed on the first 1 hour, you can go through that and you'll be surely get an idea about what we discussed till this time. So we have discussed about the SAFe, what is SAFe and how are the different types of SAFe and why exactly we want to move with SAFe, etc. So that is really a great topic, so this is actually not a Scrum versus SAFe. The Scrum is actually not actually versus SAFe. Actually, it will be really goes with one by one. So the topic made something like maybe not a topic, but there are a lot of discussions happen within this 1 hour, and there are a lot of questions came in. So I would like to thank those who are in the audience. I can see many are actually from the start until this time. So if you want to ask any questions at this moment, you can come on board. And if you want to add, or if you are actually practicing safe or scrum, so if you want to clarify something, you can join us and you can clarify things. So this is actually an open discussion, and I want to thank at this moment to Krishnoma, Rajiv, Faisal, and everybody like Anu, Anurag, Danesh, even Nizam and all. So everybody joined and clarified things, and even Naveen, Sunil, Uni actually joined, and Danesh, everybody joined us. So I want to thank them at this moment. Anyway, we'll be continuing the session. So just got a moment to thank everybody. Yeah. So
Hari, one thing.
yeah, Uni, go ahead.
Actually, I'm not able to find that YouTube channel with Ada place to talk.
No,
So
no,
can you?
I'm not shared in my other place. Actually, it's actually shared in my personal thing. So this is actually
So,
shared in my profile. So you can see that Harra MV.
oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay, cool. Yeah,
yeah.
thank you, thank you.
Thanks, Sunny. Thanks, Sunny, for clarifying.
There is one more statement I would like to say to Sunil. Sunil, there is a if though I said that those are the measures, it has to if you want to measure that there is so many linking and attribute marking should happen with for the requirements, bugs, the release planning, all those steps. Only then that correlation will happen and we will be able to measure those. That is itself is not that's not explicitly not specified in SAFe that we have to correct. I mean, according to our program, we have to make that mapping. Only then those kind of measures are possible.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rajiv. Rajiv and Krishnamar, you can continue.
I think we are pretty much covered most of the times for today, right?
Yes.
So, Hari, you want to cover any new topic from SAFe? Because I didn't touch upon many of them because most of the things are pretty time consuming.
So in SAFe, actually, if you want, um, as we means mentioned in even in Scrum and also in SAFe, the reporting structure like the velocity and everything. Actually, since the Jira is there or maybe any other tool is there, we are actually using it. So is there any other methods to evaluate or to make sure like the team is actually or is it a practice to monitor these team members' velocity or something like that? Is it a practice or is it a good thing or bad thing? What's your opinion on that?
No, I don't think anybody will track the individual team members' performance using Jira or anything. So if they are tracking with that, that may not be the right thing because many a time team may change the ownership to somebody else. If they have completed one thing, it may give to somebody else. Then I don't know how they will track it in the Jira or not.
No, no, not individual performance. Actually, regarding the total velocity, like how much story point we covered and how much is the burn down we spent in the last sprint, like that. So there are a lot of reports available in the Jira at this moment, right? Or Jira or
So
what
that
tool
you
it
can
may be. Yeah.
track. There are multiple tools are available that you can track.
Okay. So
Harry, it is also recommended to track those because we need to understand that. Last time when we talked about agile program planning, right? So in
yes.
that I use a term called release cost. So those kind of measures is possible when we are tracking individual team performance because for per release or per PI, how each and every team is performing, it has to be a measure to understand how much we can achieve on the next PI2 based on the complexity and other user stories points. That prediction and leading indications are given or received from these kind of measures.
Got
Yeah,
it.
my recommendation is actually the team has to track how they are progressing. Everybody can track, but team should track it and they have to correct it if there is anything happening.
Got it.
Yeah, that's also right. That's the other side of it. The standard agile framework says that the team should be empowered to correct themselves in their course. So on a program management level, we do track it in for understanding what is the future is going to be. That's one part. The second part is improving ourselves as a team contributor. We have to definitely track it. That is the basic principle of agile.
So any other queries or anything anyone want to add? Because we are actually just discuss about the Scrum versus and I mean Scrum and Safe and the basics of Safe over here. So if anybody wish to ask any detailed questions over here.
Yeah, Heidi, you were telling about okay, tools which we can use along with scaled agile, right? Okay,
Yes.
usually Jira we used it, and along with that, service now kind of stuff we used for the same scaled agile. And there are some other tools like okay, Spiral Plan kind of stuff where you can planning and all those stuff. So that are the common ones we used.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks. Yeah.
If I can be more specific on Jira, so one thing we were typically use is the Jira plus Agile plugin, plus there is something as a plugin called Structure, where we can have a better view of that. There is another plugin called Structure.Gantt, have a program management level view with Gantt structure and stuff like that. And the one of the best option we have right now is Big Picture. So both in terms of Scrum planning or other internal any other Agile framework, Kanban or Safe, we can manage with the Agile. That kind of planning will go. The Big Picture will give you a timeline view on that. We can plan it for next year, and the same data entry you are doing on the Scrum board, it will get reflected on the other side. So both of the view for Scrum and also for the entire team will be visible. So if people are looking in that way, my recommendation is to use both.
Yeah, adding to that, big picture actually is good for road mapping and visualization and everything. And apart from that, in Jira there is one more stuff is like Align. Okay, so Align is good to roll out all the stories in a mission
Thanks,
kind.
Kumar. Actually, I was looking for that name. Jira Agile Align is actually for safe.
Yes, yeah.
And Big Picture is for program planning. That's another plugin. So that's the reason I kind of understand that question. That's the reason I went into specific tool name.
Okay.
Okay. And also, when I was responding to Sunil, I was talking about measuring the progress, right? So I didn't find any plugin for that in Jira. What we typically do is we have interfaced the Jira with Power BI and exporting data and measuring it and putting it as a dashboard over there. Okay, or any other graphical interface. There are two situations we have addressed. One is internally we have developed a custom dashboard in showcasing how the releases are going, how many number of features has been brought into market, what is the link defects and stuff like that. So it much more abstracted, simplified view of the entire department has been put in a dashboard. Still in search of something that comes up like that in Jira, because mostly the relationship between tickets is very specific based on project to project. Maybe that's the reason I couldn't find anything specific into.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Faisal, for adding that points, and thanks, Krishna Rajiv. Yeah. Any specific points to add or anything wants clarification? Anybody? Yeah, Balaji want to ask something, so I would like to invite Balaji on board. Yeah, Balaji, you're actually you can invite. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, good that we are having a discussion on Scrum and Safe. I practicing Safe for quite some time. I have one question. So, Safe is a scaled agile framework, and then it is, uh, yeah, doing a Scrum at a enterprise level is my understanding. So, Scrum is also part of Safe. Scrum drives the Safe is my understanding within a PA, the programming increment. So when we say Scrum versus Safe, because I joined a bit late to this discussion, so when we say Scrum versus Safe, what exactly we mean by how are we differentiating Scrum and Safe here?
Yeah, so that point actually we are, yeah, Rajiv.
Yeah, Balaji, I think the Scrum is actually in the team level and SAFe is in the enterprise level, not in the different way. Scrum is meant for one or two team and SAFe is for the enterprise. So the building block of SAFe is actually Scrum.
Yeah, the Scrum drives the SAFe. Yeah, okay, fine, got it. And just want to share some points on the SAFe, and because I was working in SAFe for quite some time, and we use something called the ADS, formerly known as TFS, for our yeah, monitoring the progress of the PI and the Azure DevOps. And there was some discussion around the productivity of the team, and definitely, yeah, as Faisal mentioned, yeah, definitely we need to um, monitor the team's velocity, because that will help us um, plan for the future program increments, and at what rate our teams are sprinting, so that we can have a good predictability of the features of the stories that can be completed within a PI, that will eventually lead to a good predictability for the features that can be implemented or that can be delivered as part of a particular release cycle. So that's my uh, take on the velocity calculation, or the velocity we need to monitor for the team in SAFe.
Yes, Balaji.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Mm,
thanks,
there
thanks.
is something which I, while Balaji was talking on the same point, something reminded me. Are you guys familiar with value chain mapping in a factory context or in any other delivery context? If it's not familiar, we are also using that for value chain mapping to understand which element is contributing the value and how much is the cost for that, and how can we optimize it. The individual team tracking, not person tracking, also will give that an understanding of an enterprise level, which team is contributing more value and with what cost. So that to understand or detect the bottlenecks also, this kind of velocity calculation is help enterprise.
Yes, Faisal. Actually, each team Scrum Master or Product Owner, they have to initiate for the value stream mapping, and that will help the team to progress.
And the other one additional point on that is we are also kind of justifying what is the objective of each of the team. It's not just functional breakdown that is a specific feature or functionality we are developing from that team. In an overall enterprise level, what is the contribution of that team in terms of value? We kind of it's features versus value. So that kind of a mapping is also possible in SAFe framework. So the point of what I'm in a summary, we can say that tracking is not only for calculating the velocity of the team and how much productive they are, it's also in terms of their existence itself, why they exist and what is the value they are contributing. It's another way of using it.
Again, value stream mapping is actually not part of SAFe. It is part of Kanban Toyota Production Systems part. Actually, it can be used anywhere, not only in SAFe. Any
I
development.
was saying there's a different directions to it. And,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, it's not the reason.
Yeah,
It is a reason.
sure, sure.
Yeah, I think most of the basic part is almost covered. So almost all the queries are, I think many are actually well experienced on the safe part, and that really means enriched this session, because everybody came up with a lot of experience and lot of clarity. So that brings us a lot of thoughts on even the clarity on what is safe, and how exactly we should practice, and what is the need of safe in an organization, etc. Or whether our team really needs safe, or whether we can move with Scrum itself, or whether we can move with Scrum or Scrum. So we have got a basic clarity on this side, and even so if anybody can just add whether to take a safe certification if our organization is only moving with a scrum. So is it a good to take a or advanced level, like if take a safe certification or any certification on the safe part, that will be worth, because we know that means our company is not actually moving with safe at this moment. But is it a good thing like to take a safe certification, or other than shall we go with the scrum certification if the team is already moving with the scrum?
So, see, what I can say is anything learning is fine. So, if you want to take learning or taking the certification is fine. So, but in case if you are going for any safe certification, I have some recommendation because safe is already having some around 14 certifications available. Out of 14 certification, only two certification talks about the framework. Remaining all 12 certification talking about the specific role. So in case if you are a scrum master or a product owner, whoever, my recommendation is don't directly go for the role-based certification, because in the role-based certification they talk only about what the role will be doing in that safe framework. So irrespective of your role or responsibility, so start with the leading safe. That is what I can say. So leading safe and SPC, these two are the one who talks about the framework. So once you learn the framework, then you can go for any specific role-based certification.
That's great. So Rajiv, or yeah, Krishnamar, you want to add something?
Yeah, this is my personal opinion. Okay, see, you were telling, okay, because my company is having Scrum and we need to learn new thing. That's okay. But for certification matter, always believe, even if people used to ask, can I take a GCP certification? I was asking, okay, whether you are working in a GCP or something else. Okay, if they are working in Azure, then go for Azure related certification. Okay, for the certification alone, don't learn anything. Okay, learn for to learn. Okay, and then certification is an additional value to that. Okay, and I have seen in industry people want to just put the title on their resume for some certification names. Okay, that is a wrong perception, which will not give you any value addition when it comes to the real implementation. Okay, when you have an opportunity for the real implementation, then only go for a certification.
That's really great words, Krishnamar. Yeah, that you said it correctly. So that's actually the certification is meant for learning purpose. That's really a great definition for that. Thanks, Krishnamar.
I have to say one thing here. Whatever you said is correct. So you can get the knowledge first of all, and second thing which I actually faced because I started my agile career from 2005 onwards. So in 2019, when I attended a agile coach training, the trainer that interviewer asked when I took the certification, because I had an ICP ACC which was taken 3 months back, but I was working as an agile coach more than 4 years at that time itself. So he measured my knowledge based on my certification duration. Then he said, okay, you need to learn something more, come back after 6 months. So that is also there because people have that kind of perspective also. So having a certification is not a bad idea, but apart from that, you should have the knowledge.
That's true.
That's
Nowadays, no, the people even I used to do lot of interviews. Okay, I am seeing n number of certification topped up in their resume, but when we ask for a scenario based questions, they are lagging very far
true.
behind.
True.
Yeah,
That's what I said. If you don't have the real knowledge, then certification is just a paper.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
So actually that interview triggered me. At that point in time, I have only 3 certification. Now if you see my resume or my LinkedIn, I have more than 65 certificates.
oh, great. So but all the
Can you
certification
can
actually
you
you
share the secret of having finding time to do all the certification?
that is also true. So how
That
you
was
find time for
that
that?
was the turning point actually. The interviewer actually, even at that point in time, I have more than 13 or 14 years of experience in Agile itself. And the guy who interviewed me, he might have started 4 or 5 years back. He didn't value my experience. He valued only the certification, the duration of that certification when I have taken. Because there are, it is again people to people, right? Some people value the certification, some people value knowledge. That's up to them.
Yeah, adding to that point, I always prefer the people capability of doing stuff, irrespective of whether he is a fresher or
Yeah.
senior engineer. Okay, and apart from that, the next one I always look for the attitude. Okay, I got a super engineer, and if his attitude is very bad, then it is very difficult to put some work on for him. Okay, I can't believe him whether he will continue to work on it.
Agreed, 100% agreed on that.